comment. Hello, my name's Warmaster 101.
I'm Zero Yeti.
And today we're talking
Don't
about...
play the KFC dating sim. It's terrible, trust me. Don't give them any attention whatsoever. Do not fall for this horrible brand market trick that should be sued by the makers of Kill la Kill. Who made Kill la Kill?
Studio Trigger? I don't remember. But Colonel Sanders is a snack, though.
No, he isn't. No, he isn't.
Brayden, no, you're not Brayden. Chris, you know my tendency for fucking DILFs, right? Colonel Sanders is a DILF. Warmaster 101, 2019.
You know, Colonel... Okay, here's a fact. Did you know that Colonel Sanders sued Kentucky Fried Chicken?
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, because they weren't following his recipes. And they were using his likeness to promote something he no longer liked, and he would regularly go around to KFCs in the country, taste the food, and then scream at it when it wasn't like his recipes.
That sounds
awful. Because when he sold the recipes and everything to the company, he had a clause of, "Hey, you have to follow my recipe if you're going to use my likeness. I want it to be something I actually support." And they did. So, Kentucky, I think Colonel Sanders went to court with Kentucky Fried Chicken. How do you spell Colonel?
Cornel, I think. Also, I can completely understand where he's coming from, because if I sold a secret recipe to a corporation and they didn't follow it, I would be angry too. But don't go all psycho on the food workers.
Yeah, Colonel Sanders pretty much hated everything.
Oh my god. Shoot.
His iconic quote was, when he sold the company in 1964, he later, when he went to court, he said that he criticized how the quality of food had diminished, saying that the gravy was horrible and the extra crispy chicken was a damn fried dough ball stuck on a bone.
Damn.
He said that in court.
Gosh diddly damn.
Gosh diddly damn.
Yeah, gosh diddly damn.
First Colonel Sanders sued them, and then KFC sued him for libel for disgracing their brand, because he was still getting paid money for being the quote-unquote spokesperson, because it was part of the contract they did when they sold it. And they sued him for libel in 1978, and the suit was thrown out.
Interesting.
If any Kill la Kill people worked on Kill la Kill or worked for a Studio Trigger execs out there, you could probably sue KFC over Colonel Sanders dating here. I'm just throwing it out there. So if any big name Studio Trigger employees are listening to a YouTube channel with like 3 followers,
I think it's 4.
Sue KFC.
Like, KFC isn't even that good anymore.
KFC's fucking awful. Like, I haven't ate at KFC in like a decade.
Okay, what's your favorite fried chicken place?
I don't eat a lot of fried chicken.
Oh, okay.
I eat some chicken. As far as like chicken sandwiches go, I like. I'm limited to like Popeyes because around here your options are Popeyes, KFC, or homophobia, and.
Oh man, the first year I was at UCF, the first year I was at my new college campus, there was this place called Bonchon that was Korean fried chicken, and it was amazing. But they closed.
But they closed down?
Yeah, they closed down.
That sucks. So, just to go through some of the awful things you make in the KFC dating game.
Oh my god.
One of the signature dishes is the true KFC famous bowl classic, where you have instant mashed potatoes, sweet corn, frozen sweet corn bits thawed, bite-sized chunks of crispy chicken lasered and drizzled in like 3 different kinds of gravy for some fucking reason.
The famous bowl got fucking weird.
Yeah, it did. And then don't even get me started on the fucking pot pies. Like, why would you go to a fast food place and order a pot pie? Who does?
I don't know. Pot pies can be real good sometimes.
Furthermore, why would you go to KFC and get dessert? Like, what does that help you with?
I don't know. I forgot that KFC even did dessert.
Yeah, they do. It's weird. It's fucking weird.
You know what else is weird?
The KFC, Colonel Sanders sued KFC.
No, like they like did grilled chicken, like as like a healthy alternative, and it's like, what? This looks awful.
Didn't they get rid of the grilled chicken?
I don't remember.
So I'm looking on their menu, and there is no grilled chicken.
Yeah, like at one point, the 3 chicken options were like...
Oh, there is one grilled chicken thing on the menu, and it is Kentucky grilled chicken, like the giant bucket.
Like, the like way back, I remember, like, it was the original recipe, then extra crispy, and then, what's it called? And then the grilled. And the grilled was like the nastiest of all of them because it was just grilled chicken on the bone.
Oh yeah, yes. So there is one good thing to come out of the KFC, and it's like one meme I found a long time ago.
Oh Jesus!
I'll link it to you in 1 second.
Oh
but yeah, there is a KFC famous bowl that is instead of mashed potatoes, they use mac and cheese, but they still use gravy. Hello?
I'm still here. I'm processing.
Hello?
And we're back.
Yeah, there's a KFC famous bowl that is... this is a description. Get ready for some serious satisfaction, folks.
No.
Things get pretty darn comfy and gooey when we smother macaroni and cheese with rich, melty, cheesy, home-style gravy on top of our crispy, juicy, 100% white meat popcorn nuggets. For a zesty option, try our honey spice option with our Nashville sauce.
I will steal one of your bones from your ankles.
I don't care.
Oh, damn.
And then they have cakes for some reason. Because Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think of Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think of, like, cakes that look like you would buy it out of a Hostess factory.
You know, speaking of, like...
It's called The Big Finish. Why?
That's what happens on most of my Friday nights.
We both know that's not true.
You don't know that. I might have been getting a lot recently. You don't know me.
Have you been getting a lot?
I mean, maybe. I'll never...
Never ceases to amaze me that, like, they try and show, like, The kids' meal is a healthy alternative with squeezable applesauce, grilled chicken, and green beans. Or you can get mashed potatoes and gravy and fried chicken like everyone does.
I feel. Should we just start doing random fact like Thursdays on like random like random fast food
Nah, because there's other stuff I want to talk about.
That's valid.
But yeah, no. This all started because I played the fucking KFC dating app, and I don't play it. But yeah, to summarize the KFC dating app, it's basically kill to kill, but instead of killing a horrible mother, you have a threesome with Colonel Sanders and a KFC
famous bull. Oh my god. Why? What did? Okay, like, KFC, take some notes for me if like you have one of your propaganda guys like looking at videos talking about your stupid game. Why didn't you make it so you could date like one of each of the 11 spices?
Because that would actually require an ounce of effort.
Like Jesus Christ.
It would require an ounce of effort that they did not want to do. Another thing, this is going to mix things up from rant about KFC over. This is something else I want to talk about.
Before we move on, can I just bring up the fact that the reason that all this is happening is because all of y'all wanted to waifuify Wendy's, and so it's all your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, let's give Wendy's an anime waifu avatar, and it just went down from there.
I think the only one who's been able to kind of roll with it is Arby's, and that's just because Arby's is fucking weird.
I love Arby's, like, weird cosplay. Well, not cosplay stuff, but, like, they're, like, art stuff. It's nice.
So use their packages to make mechs for some reason? Yeah.
Yeah!
Okay. Something really weird, it's gonna be... I don't know how to transition between the two topics, so I'm just gonna go for it. You ever notice how in the queer community it's fairly hostile?
Yeah.
Just between the different people inside of the queer community? I think that has to do with a couple things. I believe that because of all the massive censorship that's been going on in the queer community, even in the modern day, especially in previous generations, because like up until 2003 in Britain, I know it was illegal to educate anything about homosexuality or bisexuality, and it wasn't explicitly made illegal to discriminate against queer people until like 2010. And that was in Britain and Canada. And the United States is even worse when it comes to educating, and it's pretty much like you could get fired for talking about queer issues. And you weren't allowed to defend queer students from bullying. You weren't allowed to talk because it's seen as a disgusting perversion that like no one can be happy if you're queer, and that was what we faced. And I think that led to a large scale, even still a lot of the stigma of like you can't talk about queer themes with children, or you can't talk about different relationships with children. Like you can't, like putting LGBT representation in kids media is like something that like everyone throws a fit about and everything. I think that, and you see it in a lot of the spaces for queer communities. A lot of it's bar centric, and I think that has to do with there's a fairly large problem with alcoholism in the queer community.
there's a whole lot of issues in the queer community involving
Not
alcohol
all
and
in
drugs
the
and
caves
such.
were refugees.
Yeah.
Some were
And that also speaks to the topic I'm broadly trying to cover, but it speaks against some of the hostility in the queer community, because it's very much almost everyone in the queer community has experienced trauma of some form or another. Of living in a society that would, where a bunch of people would just rather you not exist. And I think that really refines the behavior. There's a classic thing, and you know this. When it comes to learning about like brain pathologies, it's what fires together wires together.
Mm-hmm.
So if like two different neurons fire at the same time, they generally get associated and end up with connections towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the different neural pathways and certain forms of thoughts, and you develop behavioral responses to different stressors. And I would hypothesize that the queer and trans as a whole have developed these responses and neural network shapes and deeply held sensations and emotions that we feel we're almost always in danger. And we feel that we're bad, we're unlovable, that others are untrustworthy and violent, and every time we are abused, discriminated against, neglected, those neural networks become stronger, while all neural networks associated with safety and loving relationships don't develop as much. We become less physically capable of imagining a world where being with others is not synonymous with being unsafe. And I think that also has to do with you see there's a distinct lack. Just how many LGBT community centers are around you?
I don't really pay attention. I know there is an LGBT group on campus.
It's limited to college institutions or maybe gay bars, but you don't see a lot of queer hangouts. You don't see a lot of queer community centers. You don't see even coffee shops or stuff like that where multiple generations of LGBT individuals can interact. That you can build this atmosphere of community, so that you can. We're a community lacking a lot of that elder leadership. We're a community lacking a lot of intergenerational relationships, not sexual, but just interactions. And that is how any community forms: is generations passing down knowledge and helping educate and helping protect the younger generations, and it passes on, and you build this it becomes like a mesh of camaraderie. It becomes your own community. It's how any society throughout the animal kingdom forms. Is it's an interracial society, and with queer communities especially, we don't really have that.
Right.
And I think that is why traumatized communities struggle so profoundly with loving one another. Is we don't have an atmosphere that shows anything different than needing to constantly be on edge, be wired for suspicion, and be ready for betrayal. We come to believe, and it kind of fuels that we come to the belief of that making a mistake, any mistake, whether big or small, is bad or dangerous, and we need to remove those people that from the community, or we need to blacklist them, or we need to be hostile with each other. And it's very much we as a community, and it's pretty ironic and very tragic that this is exactly what heteronorm society believes about us, that we're violent and hostile and dangerous to each other. And honestly, it's what's keeping us marginalized and dispowered. It causes us to loathe ourselves and hate and fear each other. And I believe that is why we have a lot of hostility in the within the queer community.
Yeah, I can understand that.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I can understand all this, but like, I don't know how to explain. I'm not a particular fan of talking about this stuff sometimes, because I feel weird, and like I'll speak about it like now, but then later down the line, like I'll learn something, and then my perception of it would be changed. Like, you know what I mean?
Really? Like, can you explain more?
I don't, like... I don't know. I feel weird about talking about, like, serious shit sometimes. Why am I not moving? What the fuck?
I think a possible solution to this, and I know it's gonna sound come together, peace and love, hippie bullshit, but like, hear me out. I think it's a matter of we need to establish those intergenerational communities.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries and response. I think right now one of the biggest things is everyone is their own individual bubbles. And we're facing a society that like constantly wants us erased, that our rights can be removed by the next person to get into power. And we don't have a network that we feel safe enough to let down our walls around a lot of the time. And I think there is a difference between setting... everyone should maintain their boundaries, but I think we should treat of defending ourselves is different than punishing others. And there is a difference between ending I don't know how to explain it.
No, I understand.
You ever hear, this is gonna sound really annoying, but have you ever heard, like, frogs at night? Like the little screeching frogs?
Yes.
And I know their names, one second. And anyway, you'll hear them crowing. You'll hear them croaking at night. And it's all different. It's like all different time when they start. It's all different timings, and like you'll hear one croak, and then another second later, another one croaks. Another second later, another one croaks. And it's like they're cricket frogs that we have all around the Midwest. Well, cricket frogs, they'll croak like that, but then eventually they start croaking in unison.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes less of chaos, everything for themselves, and more of a shared rhythm. More of a... It becomes one solid chorus as opposed to just background noise.
Right.
I think that we as a community are capable of harmony. We are each we are each individuals having to fiercely fight for just to not be erased in today's society. But I think we are capable of harmonizing with each other, capable of forming one thing, and that we're capable of by harmonizing with each other, we're capable of letting down that aggression and being able to be one with each other, and are capable of being able to make something in the world where we don't have to feel like we have to constantly fight each other to survive.
Right.
Do you want me to go back to ranting about KFC now?
I mean, we've been going for almost 20 minutes now, so I think it's about time to end.
Okay.
So, this has been another Random Fact Thursday. You know, talking about KFC and internalized homophobia.
Well, not internalized homophobia. That's not what I was talking about at all.
Sorry, yeah, you're right.
I was talking about, like, the queer community not being hostile towards each other.
Yeah, we need to fix that.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll talk to you guys
Bye,
later.
guys, gals, non-binary pals.
Bye.